All right, welcome back. My next guest is well known in the world of academia, and she's been all over the place recently. You'll remember the segment we did yesterday as to whether or not President Trump was going to give trade schools that $3 billion that was originally slated for Harvard. You remember that, right? Well, in the latest and most drastic move yet to curtail these numbers of international students studying in the U.S., the federal government will aggressively revoke visas from Chinese students and enhance scrutiny for future applicants, according to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Now, roughly 27% of the places at Harvard go to foreign students. Under President Trump's leadership, the U.S. State Department will work with the Department of Homeland Security to aggressively revoke visas for Chinese students, including those with connections to the CCP or studying in critical fields, Rubio said in a statement. Maybe then we can address the anti-Semitism and campus intimidation, too. After that, who knows? My next guest might know. She's had a front row seat to all this. Please welcome to the show Dr. Carol Swain, coming to us in town here from Brentwood, Tennessee. This has been a kind of a battle between President Trump's administration and Harvard, and he's trying to set some pretty stringent ground rules. What do you think?
Well, it has expanded beyond Harvard, since he will look at other colleges and universities that admit large numbers of Chinese students. And I think that the president does have national security and concerns about intellectual property as well as espionage. And some of the students connected to the CCP have been involved in the protests against, Jews, as well as the campuses and universities. So some of the Black Lives Matter protests and Antifa have involved students.
So how much of, there's money's probably at the root of all evil anyway, but how much of this is about the cash? Because I know that I was a finance professor at DePaul University in Chicago, and we had, in that finance department, there was a ton of Chinese students from overseas. How much of this is those students pay full boat versus in-state students not paying as much? How much is that is the school wants to get a lot more money out of those foreign students than they could from the students in-state?
Well, that's how it started, because the foreign students can pay their own way. And as a consequence of the free flow of money, I would say that they not only dominate at the colleges and universities as far as their influence, it's outsized because of the money. We know that there are some members of Congress that have ties to foreign countries, and I hope the administration will be looking at some of the members of Congress that have those ties.
All right, so we moved on from that, right? So now we've got about say 30% of the students. I'm not against international students, but I'm absolutely more for American students. Those places, 30% of those places don't go to American students that are probably qualified, I'm sure.
I want to say something else about Harvard and the Ivy League. It has been a debate for decades about affirmative action and how those elite schools were bringing in the offspring of immigrants or immigrant students of color themselves, instead of native-born Black Americans who might have been descendants of slaves. And we know that with the DEI in the affirmative action, they claimed that they want diversity, but they were actually using that money to bring in students that were not descendants of slaves or native-born Blacks. So the universities have had a preference for some time for foreign students, and it has impacted education, because when students go to some of those schools, they end up with TAs, teaching assistants, that can't speak English very well, but they're teaching courses because that's what you do when you're in graduate school.
Right, and I've seen that happen a lot. I saw that happen right in front of my own face. So I don't think this story is going to die anytime soon. It's going to continue to carry on. So we're going to definitely have to have you back again next week to give us an update on what your thoughts are. Thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Dr. Carol Swain, coming to us.